gonna find out. So, welcome, folks, to our first, issue 2 of our ongoing Mars Titan series. The players will introduce themselves and their characters in a moment. And when you do that, folks, I'd like to know what you've been getting up to with your Titan in the intervening weeks. Some time has passed since the showdown in A-Town, where, I say, you managed to take out the Crystal Knuckle Association and young Golden Fist. Well, sort of. Young Golden Fist, unfortunately, managed to escape, so it's still out there, but doesn't have the doesn't have his Golden Fist gloves anymore because those were taken by Glitch. And we had some other interesting fun happening in our last episode. If you haven't watched it, in where the team, I say, managed to mostly get the support of their local A-Town community, but there was some damage to the local area. Dr. W's drones fixed, and a disagreement between Jerry, Papillion, and their brother, which got them onto the Hero News that evening, with the conversation of whether you should or shouldn't punch out civilians for talking smack to you. And the result of that, as we closed last episode, was a dressing down for PopinJay from Peregrine. We're joined by the full crew today. Stephen's with us, so I'm going to ask everyone to introduce themselves as I can see you on my screen this morning. Introduce yourself, your characters, and say hi. So, Robbie, let's meet Glitch to begin with.
Okay, I'm Robbie. I go with he/him pronouns, and I am playing Glitch, who also uses he/him pronouns. Glitch is from the Transformed playbook, and his story is that he was experimenting with the idea of computer AI technology, kind of getting this sense that AI technology might be able to kind of fuse itself into some type of organic form, and it actually worked, but it worked on Glitch himself, and so he is now a kind of his DNA is partially organic and partially digital, which you can always observe with him, because that there's a kind of war going on, perhaps in him, a tug of war between the kind of organic and the digital side, so that he kind of pixelates in kind of unusual ways at certain points. Did you want me to talk at all right now about what he's been up to, or are we going?
Yeah, just briefly tell me what they've been up to.
I think a couple things. I mean, he's been studying those golden fists quite a bit. I think he's kind of been fascinated with what's going on with those items, and I think he's been hanging out in Mrs. Kim's neighborhood a little bit. He's you know, that he with the last episode, he had kind of received the notice in a positive way of some of the members of that neighborhood, and is kind of following up on that a little bit, and hanging out in the inexpensive restaurants sometimes, and perhaps occasionally striking up a conversation with some of the inhabitants there.
And have you touched base with Servo as you set up your operations there, or asked for help with the Golden Gloves?
Yeah, I think I have. I've had a hard time kind of figuring out exactly how they're all kind of put together. It's kind of a new area for me, this whole kind of cybernetics type of area. So I think, yeah, definitely, yeah, Servo would I'd show them to Servo and see what she might be able to kind of illuminate about those.
Sure. Then we'll put a little opening scene with that very shortly. Hey, Sawyer, let's introduce you and Jerry.
Hello, I am Sawyer. I also go by Ferret. Either one, and I will answer. Gender-wise, I am a void. Any gender said with respect is okay with me. You cannot misgender me. Don't try, I guess, but yay. I am playing Jerry Tran, also known as Papillion, when he is, well, he doesn't don a hero costume. When he's doing heroic stuff, he is Papillion. You just kind of have to know when to do this, because he is the delinquent. When he's doing heroic stuff is when he's doing his job correctly, I guess. And last time, I also decided that A Town is going to be divided into 4 neighborhoods, if that's okay. Like at least named. The last one is Phoenix South that we fought in.
That's absolutely brilliant with me. Can I ask you when we do the finished introduction? Sorry, can you pop those into
Yeah,
the
I'll pop them
Union
into the
City
chat.
tab? Oh, here, or into the Union City tab in the Character Keeper, and then we've got that
Yeah.
all there.
And
Awesome.
and what I was doing with my Titan is I think we were doing what amounts to like the Boy Scout, Girl Scout troop work. Like we're helping rebuild Phoenix South, the places that Dr. W wasn't able to repair with just the robots. And I think we've been having like those sadly, like, well, for Jerry, it's kind of sad to have a deep conversation because he doesn't usually trust people, but Jerry is really interested in like the fact that he may be bisexual and like is coming to terms with that with Emperor Norton, but mostly doing, uh, like good citizenship work, bring people what they need, helping balance books, stuff like that.
Excellent. Have you? So Emperor Norton is your Titan. So things are going well with them. Have you seen your brother since uh, um, you had that
We have
disagreement?
had one tense dinner with my parents on Saturday where we only spoke 3 sentences to each other. So I think my parents even know something is up.
Uh, awesome. Thank you, PopinJay. Let's meet PopinJay.
I'm Marco, and I'm playing PopinJay, and both me and my character use male, he, him pronouns. PopinJay is the legacy playbook, and he is from a family of mutants with similar powers, and he is invulnerable. He's got a big set of beautiful wings, and he shoots energy beams out of his hands. Um, and we saw at the end of the last time his aunt Peregrine um, chewing him out in an like a private high altitude meeting. And I think during the time we've been away, Popinjay has been trying to mend that relationship, and primarily by um, asking her help in how to deal with the public relations problems that our group had due to arguments with, um, reporters and punching people and possibly getting caught trying to hack um, the news company too. So maybe we've been helping coordinate some of those public service tasks that all of us are trying to do to try to repair our image. And I think she's trying to, yeah, spin doctoring, and also like maybe we're kind of forced into little classes on communications and PR and dealing with media stuff from my aunt who wants us to maybe, you know, get in less trouble in the future.
Got it. So I'm sure we'll have lovely conversations of how you've managed to get this bunch of lovely people to join you in public relations rather than spin doctrine. You shouldn't be listening to Papillion with his negative vibes, man. But time has passed, PopinJay, and you are a legacy. So just before we get on, I want to sort of do this establishing move for you. For a legacy, whenever time passes, you roll with Savior. But before we roll, we need to ask some questions of you. Have you been upholding the tradition of your legacy? I think you may be muted, Marco.
You're right. I am. Sorry. Yeah, I've been trying, but I think I've been failing, at least in the eyes of some of the Titans.
Cool. So that's a -1 on your roll. Have you maintained the
that's a
image of your
-1.
legacy? In fact, I think you've probably been hard yourself in the tradition as a legacy. You tried to go in, you tried to help the team, you mustered everyone into action. I'm going to say that's a yes, right?
Okay.
I'm going to
But
argue
the
against you there.
image is the one that.
Yeah, the image is probably a no. And then the third question is, have you made the other members of your legacy proud?
I hope so. I know that we've gotten closer as a team.
Cool. So we're going to say that it's only one was a no to that then. So that's a -1 on your roll. So you're going to roll with Savior. I've put the dice roller in there.
Oh, my Savior is at 3, so that's going to be a +2 rather than a +3.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Double sixes, so that's a 14.
On a hit, one of them offers you meaningful encouragement, an opportunity, or an advantage. So I think that means we want to see the OG PopinJay today, and we'll frame a scene around that shortly. Stephen,
Nice.
welcome, and let's. We're going to establish Tank, and we're going to open up in the first scene with Tank shortly. But do you want to introduce yourself and your character?
Yeah, sure. So Tank. Let me get the character keeper open. So Carlos Arredondo, he, him pronouns. Tank was, and he, him pronouns for myself as well. Tank was basically a street kid who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time during a sort of small-scale cosmic incursion by a group of aliens called the Legion. As a result of that war, he happened to interact with one of the Legionnaires, one of the alien soldiers, and become infected with Legion nanites as a result. So the Legion nanites are slowly killing him, but they also, or they are slowly doing something to him, but they're also giving him a lot of power in return, which allows him to manifest this armored suit that is his namesake. But Tank also has one of the members of this alien race that he's drug off into a junkyard. In their mech, their mecha suit, that he interacts with, because he thinks that's really the only link he has, or one of the only links he has to kind of getting himself cured eventually. So doomed playbook.
Excellent. And remind us of your alien mentor.
Silver Sentinel is
cool. Silver Sentinel is your Titan. I'm just checking through the notes. I can't see if we've got the NPC entry for the alien who's in the junkyard with you.
Oh, Vash.
Vash. Let's put that into there. Cool. Excellent. So we'll open with your character pretty quickly once we've done that.
I have a quick question for for Glitch, actually. How much during? I know you guys had downtime, so for anyone watching, I wasn't here last session, so I'm playing catch up. I had a question. Has Glitch been trying to reach out to Hackjack at all?
That's a good question. I'll remind myself. Because Hackjack is, we used to,
So we established Hackjack as being someone who was possibly going to be in the team with you, who was
Right.
also a protege of Servo. But one of the closing scenes last time is we saw Emperor Norton's nemesis, Madame Bancho, on a rooftop with Hackjack.
Yeah, I don't know that I've been in touch per se, but I think it would make sense that I would be, having seen that Glitch has Hackjack on the radar, and since we're now, now that Hackjack is a nemesis, I think Glitch would be doing a little bit of kind of background work on. That's interesting. Hackjack, involved with this, these shenanigans that happened last time. And so I think I don't think reaching out to Hackjack for contact, but certainly kind of following up a little bit on seeing if I can trace what Hackjack has been up to of late.
Well, we'll leave that to pick up in the game. Stephen, does that answer your question? I'm just like silence as being good there. I think Stephen's muted. And though I'm delighted Pearl is playing, it is with somewhat dread we hear from Booby B.
I don't know why you'd be worried. Bobby B is totally awesome, and he always does the right thing. So I don't know where that came from. Bobby B's been hanging out actually a lot with Mrs. Kim because she makes like the best sweets. We learned that in our last episode when we were at her shop. They were really good. So he's kind of been hanging out there. He put in a call to Dr. W because he'd really like to figure out this phasing stuff. They haven't managed to meet up yet, but he got some pointers, and Mrs. Kim, because he's such a good customer, lets him go out back and try it. And he's only broken like 5 things by phasing incorrectly so far. So I think he's like on the right track. But that's mostly it, that and the 1-arm push-ups.
That's cool. So you'll be doing that and the 1-arm push-up, hanging up down there, which means that undoubtedly TinaT has been making a move on your crew to try and get people into her gang, but you'll deal with that. Always choices. So look, let's set the first scene, and I'd like that first scene to go to Stephen and Tank because we didn't see them last time. So Stephen, we'll have it open on a first page, and we see Tank's sanctum because you're playing the doomed character. Would you like to describe that and Tank and Boom and Vash to us for the first time?
Yeah, so it's sort of a fantastical version of a junkyard. So big, like mountains almost of cars, stacked 4 or 5 cars tall. So there's a lot of concealment and whatnot. And up against one of these mountains, in sort of a little valley between these different car mountains, there's totally, what's the word for it? Incongruous, I guess. This totally incongruous, like high-tech battle suit that's sort of been pushed against, just pushed against the cars, kind of roughly, and it's got like obvious damage to it. It's been holed through a couple of times. The hatch that would have, held someone has been popped open, and this thing's fairly large. You know, I'm figuring something that's like 15 or 16 feet tall. So this hatch is big, and Tank, who's this younger Hispanic kid, this teenage Hispanic kid, is sort of leaned back against one of the cars next to the mech, and next to Tank is this purple humanoid-looking figure who looks just like a person, except he's purple, because that's how aliens work. And he's got like just bandages, obvious bandages around his chest and like wrapped up over his shoulder. And as the scene opens, like you see that as the setting scene. And I think in the next scene, you see that on a cell phone, Carlos is hitting send on a message on social media that's going toward Hackjack.
Okay. So you're trying to contact Hackjack.
Yeah, so it's just as an aside, I figure probably Carlos has sent a number of unanswered messages to Hackjack through various forms of social media, and probably spends a fair amount of his time trying to figure out what she's doing. So I think that's more context than...
Sure. Okay. I'll come back to you momentarily, but I want to come to Glitch to begin with, and we set a scene in Servo's lab with the gauntlets on the table. What does Servo's lab look like, Glitch?
I think Servo's lab looks always, super neat. Everything is put away. It's also, I think, a rather, for people coming in there, they would see it as a pretty sterile environment. Not, Servo is a kind of android, and she's also kind of made up to seem, she's kind of part of this neural network experiment that's been through many different iterations. And so she's like this most recent iteration, and she's, they intentionally kind of made her body to kind of look very kind of artificial. Like you instantly identify her as being some type of artificially created thing. And the lab has, right, just this kind of meticulous, super clean, super bright lighting, right? There aren't any shadows in there.
Awesome. So the sort of, I suppose, holographic screens floating around, and we can see the an exploded view of the gauntlets and gloves. And what tells us that Servo isn't human, that they don't move or walk or act in that way?
Servo herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's first of all that she has a kind of silvery metallic look to her, and her. I think in terms of her movement, it's super precise movements also, right? I mean, that it, just down to kind of the way that she kind of comports herself. There's always this kind of sense of, a certain type of stiffness and precision to, how everything is done. You probably also, I would imagine, you hear a kind of humming sound around her. It's kind of like, the electric cars are required to have some type of little humming sound or something coming through them so that people notice them. I think Servo also has some type of like always this ambient hum that's kind of radiating from her.
Excellent. So the scene cuts as both of you have just come to the realization that what this tech in these gloves are made out of is actually from it's from the alien legion that Tank introduced to us, but it's been heavily retconned. In fact, it's been so souped up and twisted. The only person outside yourselves or Dr. W that you know have got the skills to do that are Hackjack. How do you react to this revelation?
I say to Servo, I can't say that I'm surprised. It certainly helps to make sense of why I last saw Hackjack taking up with those villains. And I guess just a little background question here. To what extent would I know about Tank's relationship with the Legion? I mean, do I know that? Would I know that he has Vosh? Do I know, or is that a kind of complete?
I think that's a question for Stephen to answer.
Yeah, so I think Tank's suit, because it's created by these nanites, actually has that distinctive look to it too. And I think that look of that technology is, you know, if you look at Tank's suit, if you look at that image, it's like really bulbous, like very curved, and it doesn't quite look like it fits the human anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, if someone's using a glove, for example, in order to fix things, that glove might only have like 3 fingers on it or whatever. So there's obvious differences. It doesn't look like it was made for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you know, I think I you know, Glitch turns to Servo and says, this is as I say, not surprising, but I think Tank, one of my friends, may have some insight into what exactly is going on with this resurfacing of what is clearly Legion technology. I could try to see if he could help out to kind of get to the inner workings of this, to see how these I mean, these are Servo, these mechanisms. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like this. And you see, you know, Glitch really kind of getting, you know, deep into like the kind of micro technology. Probably has you know, this, you know, you have to put a kind of microscope on some of this, a digital kind of microscope to kind of blow things up, and kind of she's Glitch is kind of tracing out, you know, some of these the kind of micro circuits that are kind of operating within the glove. Probably, you know, there's also kind of the techno babble going on with on the page, the abundant kind of footnotes that are appearing in terms of, you know, the technology here.
Yeah, there's the verbal communication which you use to make it feel like you're human, or you know, for the real people. This is constant stream of data between the two of you as you're analyzing this. And Servo looks at you and says, "It was your team's catch. You should take point on this. I'm here to support you, but I agree with you that Tank would be a good person to bring in on this." Said, "I'll leave it with you, but this is concerning. Hackjack, if Hackjack has started making weapons for crooks and mercs, then this is not going to end well for anybody."
And I think when Servo uses that phrase, "take point on this," you know, glitches up.
Mm-hmm.
And turns to Servo and says, "Take point. What do you mean by that?" And that's a kind of strange statement coming from you, Servo. I mean, you never take point on anything. You're always in the background. You're the supporter. What do you mean, take point?
You're the lead investigator. let someone else deal with all the punching work that needs to be done, but make sure that what you're doing is evidence-led and a case can be brought against them.
Yeah, I think you get a close-up of Glitch, who is pondering this, but is also kind of, you see Glitch kind of nervous too, right? Glitch doesn't really sweat, but you see kind of where sweat would be, you see pixelation kind of happening. Little pixelations running down Glitch's face.
Glitch, so I think Servo doesn't look up at you, but Servo is sort of carrying on, going, "I have absolute faith in you. I believe that you're capable of leading." And she's telling you who you are and trying to exert influence over you. She has influence because she is an adult and you're Titan.
Yeah, so I think with this, so I can decide whether to allow this or not, right? Or whether
Yeah, you have a choice here, right? They're trying to take advantage of their influence over you, right? So when someone with influence over you tells you who or how the world works, you can accept what they say, at which point your labels will be shifted by me, or you can try and reject them if you want to act out or behave in a way where you don't accept the support that is being given to you.
Yeah, I think Glitch would accept this. I mean, because I think, Glitch thinks of this idea of taking point. It's unusual for Servo, but I think Glitch also sees this as a positive sign coming from Servo, right? That like Servo is kind of coming around to the idea of maybe still being somewhat in the support role, but also kind of taking something of a spotlight as well, at least in her own kind of way. So I think, Glitch is willing to kind of explore this.
Excellent. So I'm going to move your freak from 3 to 2, and I'm going to put your superior from -1 to 0. You got someone who believes in you. So are you going to meet Tank 1-to-1, or are you going to bring the rest of the team together?
I think I'll do this 1-to-1 with Tank.
Cool. So let's just hear a little bit from the rest of the team before we hit back on to that that scene. PopinJay, your PopinJay the first, your grandfather has invited you round for a coffee, or actually wants you to take them out for a coffee to have a little conversation with you.
Okay. We're going somewhere nice, so I'm dressed well, fashionable but conservative because I'm going out with my grandfather, and my clothes have been tailored to make up for the fact that I have giant wings sprouting from my back. Yeah, we go to a place where we can have coffee and, you know, well-made little cakes and things on the table.
What's the ethnic origin or heritage of your family, PopinJay?
Indian and British, and grandfather flew alongside the RAF during the war, though he didn't use a plane.
Excellent. So there's a say a little cafe, and it's one of those sort of what we would refer to as a Raj style cafe, which is a fusion, I suppose, of British and Indian influences. And your grandfather likes the tea there, and has a soft and a sweet tooth there, so is looking forward to some of the sweets that are made. It's like I say, a little Indian bakery. So that's where you meet them. I think we sort of see you walking down the street together. I think much like you, they have wings, and he does not in any way try to hide or shield them. But his wings don't fly so well anymore. They're on a stick, and going, you won't believe the treat that you're in for here, Jacob. I've asked them to make some gulab for us. So when they cook that milk down into the solids, it is so sweet. I know I shouldn't, not with my heart condition, but it is my favorite. Said, what is the point of living this long if you can't have something? Shh, don't tell your mother or your aunt.
Never do.
I heard something on the radio. They were talking about your team. What's this I hear about you having a boyfriend?
I think the entire city found out at the same time I did. Prior to that, there was no discussion really or anything, and it was kind of aggressive, and I liked it. I was always afraid that anybody I was with was gonna be always a target for villains, and that I would never be comfortable because I couldn't be there 24/7, and anything that happened would eventually be my fault. Where Papillion can take care of themselves.
Jacob, I'm very disappointed. I'm taking you for sweets, and you haven't brought this person? I am disappointed. Why aren't they here? No matter what anyone says, Jacob, always be yourself. That's the most important thing. If you're going to live up to my legacy and he sort of chucks your chin, then the only way you're going to do that is living for the values that I fought for. Yes?
So you don't mind if I invite? Because I can text Papillion right now.
Said if they are important to you, they are important to me. Next time we go out, you must bring them.
Well, I'm saying they can come this time. Papillion can teleport. I just need to send a text.
Then invite them. Sweets for all.
Okay, so I do that, but I say, could you put that shirt on that I bought you first, because it's a nice place, and I know how Papillion usually dresses. So,
Yeah, I think you get like this cascade of text like, oh, cool, yeah, we can meet up. Wait, your grandfather? Wait, the PopinJay the first? And like, oh crap, like a heart emoji. Oh crap, like a shirt and fire emoji. Then like, 2 texts, like one of them in like the is like the shirt like disheveled. It's like, wait, what? No, mistake. They're like actually dressed, and like once he gets the okay, he'll teleport over.
Okay.
And I think like it's like again like the he appears like with like when he teleports by himself, it's just like these butterfly wings of psychic energy enfold over him, then expand when he gets there. So it's kind of a glamorous entrance, but he is definitely nervous. Just like looks around, takes in the sense, and then like almost like and then like he bows to PopinJay the First and takes a seat right by PopinJay the Second.
It looks at you arriving and go, ha! What color? You're like a walking Diwali.
Oh, well, most people don't find butterflies that threatening, but I mean, I like them. It goes with the aesthetic, and wings of all types are cool.
Ah, come. I will order sweets for us all. You will tell me about my grandson and how you are working with them to form this new team. What is it you call yourselves?
Oh, we're the Vanguard because we go in where other people would fear to tread.
Ah, lovely. What an interesting name. So, and we'll close the scene on this. Looks and say, are the two of you, have you come up with your signature double move yet? That's what the best romantic couples do when they fight evil. And he then starts going into working you through to what your signature double move will be.
Oh no, we definitely need one of those.
I'm gonna cut away from that into Booby B. What is Bobby's still school age, right? He's a senior and this is her last year in school. Is that correct, Pearl?
Yeah, senior in high school.
So let's frame sort of a mundane-ish scene. I'd like to see Bobby in their school life. If this is like lunchtime, where do we find Bobby?
Well, Bobby always wolfs down his lunch because he needs a lot of calories to support all of the awesome like gymnastics and stuff he does. Burns a lot. And then he just goes outside and like does some of his one-arm push-ups. If there's nowhere to do anything more interesting, he's gotten suspended a couple times for trying to do gymkata during like recess or whatever. So he doesn't do that anymore at school, but they can't get him in trouble for the push-ups. So he's doing that with his B-boy crew and talking about the upcoming midnight dance-off and how important it is that they stay a team, that he's been hanging with the crew outside, that is not taken away from the B-boys, but there's another crew he hangs out with sometimes, and that when they work together, it's awesome. And he was thinking like maybe the B-boys should emulate that.
Let's name one of the people in this crew.
Danny D.
So Danny D saying, "Yo, maybe we should like come up with like a fresh set of moves that we could take more people into this team." At which point we see TinaT appear in panel. Describe Tina for us at the first point, and how do we know she's a badass?
There's a picture of her in the Keeper, if anybody wants to look. But I will describe as well. I'm just going to go to the Keeper so I know I'm describing the same person I put in the Keeper. Where are BCs? Oh, no. Here they are. So TinaT, you can tell she's badass because when she walks, it's like one of the big cats, like where even though they're walking slowly, like you can see that they have all of this muscle that is just not being used. You know what I mean? But like that they could spring into action at any moment. She's lithe like a tiger.
So she looks and sort of bang, we see her with her crew behind her and you with your crew, and she says, he said, Booby B, do something fresh. Don't make me laugh. You're so stale. You should be served in the cafeteria.
At least I'm not truant. What are you doing in my high school? From the other high school? Are you like so out of material that you needed to come and spy on us hanging out at lunch?
Yeah, so go,
because that's a little sad.
Oh, I'm a truant. I bet you and your crew are going to go and tell my principal. Bang. She's telling you who you are. She's telling you that you're a snitch.
Yeah, she's wrong. I'm going to reject that. She's wrong. I'm not going to tell her principal. I'm just going to beat her at the dance-off.
Okay.
So
you want to reject that influence?
I can roll to reject that, right?
Yeah.
I have my handy-dandy move sheet here.
Oh, it could also be hitting your drive of rejecting someone who says you shouldn't be here.
That is true. I wanted to ask if I did that last time with the reporter, but either way. Do you have any influence? What do I do to reject influence?
You just roll in 2d6 flat.
Oh, flat. Okay. No, I was like, I can't find the thing. Okay. That's an 8.
Bang. So on a 7 to 9, you reject it and you choose one. You can declare a conditional mark credential. So it's the second page of the move sheet. You can shift one label, one down, or you can cancel influence against them.
I'm going to mark potential because I don't have a condition, and she definitely doesn't have influence on me. Bam, TinaT.
Bang. She looks at you. Oh. So I hear that you ain't hanging out with your tree and putting the hours in you used to, Booby B. You got a new crew. She looks at your crew and says, "This is what it's going to be like with this is a problem. He's gonna dump you guys and move on. You should think about a different dance crew. You should join up with us."
Tina, I feel for you. Like, this is really a new level of pathetic. Like, you come on your lunch break down to my school and try to steal my crew. You're not even like having a dance off for it. You're just gonna talk. This is really boring. I'm still doing one-arm push-ups like this whole time. I had respect for you as a dancer, and I probably still do. We'll see at the match, but my esteem for you as an overall rival, maybe you should be practicing your moves instead of running your mouth with my team.
She looks at the team and say, I bet you that she won't be around as much as he won't be around as much as you need him to be. And that door's always open. We'll see you soon, B-boys. As in B-grade, not like us.
You're not clever, Tina. And I know people who aren't clever because I am also not clever. Takes one to know one. Lost your touch.
She looks at you, and then her and her crew pump out a set of acrobatic moves, which are really quite impressive. And they're so impressive that in Scott Pilgrim style, this almost like floors your team. So you're going to need to take a powerful blow, just because they've got moves.
All right, so roll plus conditions. I don't have any of those. That's a 10.
Bang. So the 10
Yeah.
plus, it ain't good. You must remove yourself from the situation. You lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way, or 2 options from the 7 to 9 list.
Let's see what happens when I lose control of my powers in a terrible way.
Well, that's for you to describe, really. What cause your powers are? It's the phasing, right? So
Yeah.
Let's suggest that you're trying to counter the moves and they're getting faster and faster, and all of a sudden your phasing kicks in, and what we see is Bobby disappearing through the floor, and the next scene we've seen Bobby on the floor of the boiler room, and the janitor looking at you with their broom.
Yo, Mr. D. It's looking clean down here. Great job.
The team upstairs, your crew and Tina and their team are looking at this point where you just sort of like jumped on to land on your hand and kick your hands in the air and went straight through the floor, and they're looking at each other going, you go, yo, I knew it. That guy's a freak. You as a team of freaks, and you were the loser freak. B-boys, freak boys. That's what I'm calling you from now on. Your team are somewhat concerned and confused, but we'll come back to them in a minute. Let's cut through to Tank and Glitch. Where are you meeting, folks? Glitch, sorry, Tank. Why don't you paint the scene for us and where you're meeting? What do we see in this panel?
So I think where does Tank hang out? So I think Tank actually hangs out at Carlos hangs out at a music store, like a kind of recycled books, used music, used bookstore kind of place. And because he and Glitch knew each other before all this happened, I think Glitch is pretty familiar with the fact that this is where Tank goes on a pretty regular basis.
Awesome. I think, yeah, cool. That's fine. So,
and I think, the first scene would be, I think Carlos is like flipping through, old CDs and stuff, obviously, but he's flipping through to find something that Booby B actually recommended to him because he knows Booby B's got good taste in music.
Awesome. So you're in this record store. Glitch, do you want to name it?
I see up here Old Media Milieu. Is that was that a proposed title for the store?
No, I just had a store exactly like this that reminded me of that description, but it could be.
You put one into your describes as well, didn't you? So maybe is it? Let's keep one store. I think that's probably sensible, right? Rather than having 2 similar locations. So did you name that one, Papillion?
The media store I went to.
Yeah.
I did not. It could just be like a Union City chain, like the Union Clanger.
Cool. That's fine, but let's make it one place. So it's where the cool kids hang out. It is the vinyl store and the CD store to know. So we'll you're let's say you're both well, you're there. So I'll pass it back to you guys.
I mean, I think you see, Glitch walking into the store. There's music in the background, and kind of Glitch recognizes the song that's playing. It's I don't know. Let's imagine it's some type of mashup between emo and techno or something, and Glitch kind of tries to imitate the singer, silent, quietly, but and sees Tank there, and kind of makes a beeline for Tank, and pulls out his cell phone, and is pulling up the files for this cybernetic tech, so that as soon as he gets up there, he has like a schema already up on his phone, and says, and I guess Tank, I would probably address you as Carlos at this point, correct?
Yeah, because they do know each other.
Yeah.
Or
So Carlos, you've got to check this out. I think you'll recognize some stuff here, and kind of puts in front of your face this kind of blown up schema of that kind of cybernetic fist that he's been looking at.
Okay, I think because that was so abrupt, like instantly the nanites sort of like pop, and they cause this data feed to just start scrolling in front of Carlos's face, and so he like jumps back from it, and scatters DVDs all over the place. What is that, man? What is that?
Well, the golden fist that we kind of encountered a few weeks ago. I've been studying the cybernetic stuff, and actually, Servo's the one that put me onto this. Servo, with the Titans, she pointed out that there's kind of you can't, you would miss it if you didn't know what you were looking for, but there's Legion stuff in here. Do you see this? And right, Glitch blows up even bigger some of the schema, and kind of starts pointing out to you some micro circuitry that's kind of going on that has signature Legion fingerprints on it.
Carlos like puts his hand around Glitch's shoulders and kind of leads him off. Man, you can't talk about that stuff in public. Not everybody's supposed to know about this.
Yeah, and Glitch kind of looks around like, okay, who might be spying on us here?
Does Servo think he can help me? Is Servo a male or a female? Sorry.
Female.
Okay. Does Servo think she can help me?
Well, I think Servo has kind of given me what she knows. She told me to take a lead investigator role in all of this. So, but I've got all the schemas here, and Servo gave me some insight into what she's been able to learn from some of the Legion technology.
Okay, so what do you need? How fast can we do this?
Well, I don't know. I thought that maybe because you have some connections with the Legion. Not that you know them personally, but I know that you have some insight into the technology that they're running. I was thinking maybe we could kind of work on this a little bit together to try to figure out how this cybernetic fist is working. But there's all sorts of hacks going on in here that I haven't been able to quite figure out. There's all sorts of kind of reroutings and loopings and stuff that's kind of going on. Do you see this? Right. And, kind of points to.
Yeah. Sure. Whatever you need. How long do you think it's going to take? I'm dependent on you with this.
Well, I don't really need to sleep much. But I tell you what, if we could go off to our hangout. Do we have a name for our hangout that we like? I can't remember from last time if we
I don't think you named it. We described it, some aspects of it, but we didn't name your
Yeah.
headquarters.
So I didn't see that. What's Vanguard's base?
It's like the old Legion of Doom's headquarters that got repurposed. Like it was like the old Silver Age headquarters that the Titans used to fight as
Cool.
their like main. Yeah, it's like maybe like something like the reclamation point.
Yeah. Yeah. So I say, you know, if we could go back to the reclamation point and go to my little corner of that little world, I think you know, if you could share some things with me on what you know about the tech that the Legion is running, I think we could probably figure out how this thing operates. It'd be kind of cool, right? Have some insight into this newfangled cybernetic gear.
Yeah, sure, man. Just like old times. And he's kind of like trying to usher him out, because I think the guy that runs the Clanger has noticed that all these DVDs have just been like scattered all over the floor, and is sort of like back in the background in the panel, like shaking his fist at them.
Cool. As you sort of pushed outside, we see in the store, she's got a hoodie on and her sunglasses, but she pulls the sunglasses away, and we see Juanita Sanchez, the star investigative reporter from the Champion News Network. She is sort of puts down the album she was looking at, and smiles and goes, "I can smell a story." Hey, let's maybe bring the entire team together back at the headquarters in a moment. But look, shall we maybe just take a 5-minute break there, and then we'll bring the team together with gloves. So it's just coming up to 10 to the hour. Let's come back at 5 to the hour, folks, and then we'll pick up with the team together.
We each have done have different rooms we've been hiding out in. Jerry has been having this like garden that a Poison Ivy XP had. Glitch has been standing in like the old supercomputer room. Booby B's like worked out the trading room like in Lara Croft or a Tomb Raider game. PopinJay's been like bringing shit in from the Legacy and like things for us to have, like video games and stuff like that. So I'm sure you could probably have a room you've painted, or just like you've been the one that's been focusing on like redoing everything for that.
Yeah, so I think he's been like trying to paint all the communal area walls, because they were like just that, you know, the dingy supervillain metal walls and everything, and he's trying to give them a little bit more color. Plus it keeps the corrosion down. So he's been painting them all in like kind of bright teals and greens and oranges and stuff like that, like kind of glaring happy colors. Very vaguely Tejano happy colors.
Excellent. So let's set the scene there as the team comes together, because some of you have had a hell of a morning. But the team is put together with this evidence that they want to share out. Who speaks first?
I mean, I think Glitch, with the echo of Servo in mind, kind of taking point on the investigation. I think Glitch would be, you know, willing to kind of step forward, a little bit nervous, but says, Tank and I have been kind of looking at this equipment that the Golden Fist had, and it's amazing. But the most surprising thing is that, well, it has the fingerprints of Legion technology, and also clearly the fingerprints of some hackjack workings. I know hackjack's abilities, and I know the signature kind of techno moves that he puts in, and it's all over here. And he kind of will bring up a screen with big, schemas of this technology, and kind of goes into his techno babble, kind of pointing out all of the kind of micro circuitry earmarks that he's been able to find.
I think there's like a side panel. As soon as Glitch says, "I know hackjack's work," you see like Tank or Carlos like look over and just give him the eye. And as he's doing all this, a couple of panels later, as he's doing all this techno babble and stuff, Carlos is like suddenly subdued and is like, "So you need to bring hackjack in on this?"
Well, I don't know what you mean by bringing hackjack in, but hackjack's. I don't know what hackjack's game is right now. We saw hackjack with Madame Bancho, and that can't be good.
Have you been talking to her?
Just sorry to retcon you. That was an off panel. You didn't see that.
Yeah, I think like instead of that for that retcon, like I think Jerry just like is looking intently at this schema, but just like, oh yeah, get an X involved. That's always the best idea. Very wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Glitch just says, Glitch hasn't had direct contact with hackjack recently, right? And says, I don't know what you mean by bringing hackjack in. I don't. I've been trying to figure out what exactly hackjack is up to and what her game is, but this does have the earmarks that hackjack has been kind of at work with this, and there are clearly kind of signs of hackjack working with the Golden Fist and it was the Crystal Knuckle group, right? Can't be good.
I think hackjack just did what she had to do at the time. I don't think we need to judge her for that.
No, I'm judging her for leaving our team and leaving us high and dry. I mean, I'm not the best member of us, but even I stuck around.
Hey, if anyone's got a reason to be mad at hackjack, it's me, all right? I actually need her for something. You guys have no reason to be talking about her.
Actually, it sounds like we do have a reason to talk about her because it appears Glitch uncovered an association between Hackjack and Golden Fist, who attacked us in the street. As a potential suspect, we should avoid sharing information with Hackjack at this time until we understand what Hackjack is up to.
No, actually, I think I think Carlos might have a good plan here if I'm reading this correctly. And I think Jerry stands up, smiles charmingly. He's like, and if I get this right, you think Hackjack is involved with the Crystal Knuckle Association, and if Hackjack knows about your alien tech, you can get that information from her. Maybe use the old ties we have, right? You're more calculating than I thought.
Yeah, I am.
And I think I'm going. Do I have influence over Tank? Let me check. I think I might not, cause
I think Tank's got influence.
No, I do not. Correct. That's how it is. Yeah, I'll just. I think Jerry just nods. Maybe a bit too chum-like for Carlos's liking. Putting saying Carlos is acting like Jerry would.
Yeah. Look, we all know what I've got going on right now. If Hackjack can help with this, then we need to get in touch with her. Or I'm going to get in touch with her anyway. You guys can do whatever you want. And Tank like storms out of the room, I think.
Ooh, I'd like to teleport after Tank, if that's okay.
That's fine. Just before we do that, I haven't heard anything from sorry, I haven't heard anything from B-Qubed. What are they doing in this this social kickoff with the team, or did they not come?
No. Bobby B would never not show up to a team meeting. That's ridiculous. But he does not know what anybody's talking about that much. Like, the hacking stuff, it's just not his department. And it seems like there's some drama with this Hackjack, which, like, I never had an opinion really one way or another, other than obviously if you don't stick with your team, you're a loser. So I think Hackjack is a loser. But I'm not as emotionally invested as it appears the team is. So I'm sort of just staring at the door where Tank has just stormed out, right?
That's right.
And I'm like, whoa, dude. Someone should probably get him, right?
I think that's the point where Papillion teleports. Let's carry on with that scene with Tank and Papillion then, please.
Yeah, and I think Papillion like teleports in like 2 steps behind Carlos, like, hey man, look, I'm sorry if I made it out to be how I thought, but you know I've got your back, right? You know that we all have your back. You're not a weapon to us. You're a friend. We'll help you solve this problem.
And so there's a panel where like half the panel is faded out, but half of that panel shows that like Tank's nanites have started like targeting people in the room and like popping up threat assessments and whatnot. And as he like calms down, that gradually goes away. And he tells Papillion, some of y'all don't see me that way. Look, you know this is life or death to me. You know I'm scared.
You can always... Okay, I've only told PopinJay this, but you can always come talk to me if you need it. I mean, if you can find me, I'll listen to you. I'll do it no judgment. I get enough judgment as is. Isn't that... I mean, you're amazing no matter how this happened. And
sounds like you're comfort and supporting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm actually trying to get a team move in there. When you share a vulnerability or weakness with someone, give them influence over you.
Ooh, good. I needed that influence because that pushed it to just a 7.
So on a 7 to 9 for comfort and support, they hear you, mark potential or clear. If they hear you, mark potential, clear a condition, or shift labels. If they open up to you, do you hear them and open up to them to Papillion Tank?
Yeah, I think so. Carlos says, look, man, I appreciate that. You know, I realize we're all going through a lot of things right now. I realize you're going through a lot of things right now too. Do you think there's a chance for me to get out of this?
No, I know there's a chance we'll get you out of this.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I think there's got to be like that panel of just like their hands meeting, you know, like the nanites on one side, like the butterfly swarm on the other panel, just like staring each other down as we have this cool moment.
That's cool. That's cool. I like that.
Excellent. Let's cool. Let's pull back to the rest of the team who are in the rec room while this was going on. What were you doing?
So the people who are left are me and Glitch and PopinJay?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
I think I've asked everyone to give me like the real lowdown on Hackjack because I thought Like she left the team, whatever, but clearly there's stuff going on. And that whole conversation was too complicated for me. So should we worry? Like,
Well, Glitch would be able to kind of share some of the background of Hackjack. Glitch would, talk, briefly about like previous run-ins, but Glitch is then kind of scratching his head and saying, but I can't wrap my head around what's bothering Tank and what he's saying about Hackjack. There's, it seems clear to me that Hackjack is brilliant. I'll give her that, but she's also dangerous. I think this is all a kind of sign that she's taken up with the wrong crowd, and I don't know what to make of Tank's interest in Hackjack. I mean, I went to Tank to kind of see what insight he could give me into some of this Legion technology here, but I don't know. There's something eating at Tank, and I can't wrap my head around it.
I mean, that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about Hackjack because I know we have things covered, and you all who do the hacking on our team are obviously better than Hackjack because you're on our team. But I don't want our team to fall apart. And all right, I don't think you guys knew me yet when this happened, but you know about TinaT. I've mentioned her. She's like my rival on the other team.
Yeah, and I know about TinaT's moves, at least what you've told us about it.
Yeah, she's good. She's good. She came to the school today and she did a whole thing. And I feel like the B-boys are really shaken up. And I don't know if you guys know this, but freshman year, TinaT went to my high school. We were on the same team, and I thought that team was going to be forever. And then she switched high schools and she started her own team. And now they're coming to mess up with me or to mess with my team. And I don't want this to happen with Hackjack and our team here. Like, we got to stick together.
Yeah, and I think you get a close up of Glitch, who is intently listening to this, and a kind of look of determination on Glitch's face that he's processed this and he's kind of locked it in. Right? Oh, right. I've got some insight then into what I need to do with respect to Hackjack and make sure that the team stays together.
Well, what I got out of it primarily is, regardless of Carlos's motivations, he's asking us to help Hackjack and not treat Hackjack straight up like an enemy. Like maybe it's somebody who is falling but hasn't fallen yet, and we can help. Um, but as far as why, I, you were asking before, that's really for Tank to share with us. Uh,
But I mean, Hackjack did desert our crew, right? So like we want to support Tank, but like, I mean, she is a loser who deserted our crew. So like, what do we do with that?
well, it looks incriminating that Hackjack could be working with villains with this Crystal Knuckle Association.
That would be almost
So
as bad as having deserted the crew. That would make it like almost double bad.
that's not just forming her own crew. She left and joined a rival crew.
That's what I'm saying. It's does like so. How do we support Tank without
Well,
talking part? But I think you all get what I mean. We got to stop this. She's gonna be our Coco Omo.
You know, Glitch goes, Coco Omo? Well, I think, look, I'm worried about Tank, and I'm concerned about what Hackjack is up to. But yeah, the important thing is to keep our team together. And I know Hackjack has jealousy issues operating with our team. She really wanted to be a part of our team, and I don't know. I think she's taken that jealousy, and it's leading her down a dark alley.
Can you stop her?
Well,
Like light up the alley.
Yeah. Well, I can stop her in one way, but whether I can stop her kind of from continuing to pursue what she's, going after, I don't know that. I mean, look, I understand what I'm getting a handle on what she's doing with respect to the technology. That's solvable, but I don't really personalities. That's an area that I'm kind of out of my depth, understanding how the mind works.
PopinJay, you're like kind of our leader, right?
Okay.
Could you like talk to Tank or?
Yeah. Though I trust that Jerry said what needed to be said. Jerry's on our crew. He's awesome. So clearly.
Oh yeah, no.
I think
Jerry's the best,
sorted
man.
it out for us. So, but yeah, I think I probably should have a chat with Carlos when Carlos is ready. But the fact is, this is going to be a situation that can't be solved by kicking in the door and punching someone in the face.
No, obviously, if it were, I would have done that already. That's my department. That's why I thought you guys should maybe take this one, because the whole punching people who are like being mean to teammates thing did not go over well last time, even though it was totally legit.
I got a pretty good ear beating over it, but that's kind of my job.
Well, maybe we could just find him at least.
So I will text Jerry and ask, hey, is everything cool with Carlos?
Yeah, and I'll.
Can we do anything?
Yeah, I think like that text is like the ringtone that I think that song that is like the capitalist jam. Like, oh yeah. I think that's like the ringtone that happens when Jerry walks in the room. Like his face blushes. Like, yeah, Tank's back.
And is Tank returning with Jerry, or did Tank go off on his own?
I think Tank split from Jerry, saying, I just need some time alone in my room.
Okay, and then I think Jerry will still be flustered, but it's like, Tank's cool. I talked to him. We can't all be lucky in certain areas, and I may have came off too harshly, so I felt it was my job to make sure he He understood that we all had his back.
And does he?
Yeah, I mean, he just needs some time alone. We all do, and I trust he's getting his head clear.
At this point,
Here, can I interject something really quick?
oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think on the back side of that, like the next panel is Tank sitting alone in his room with the lights off, and he's got his cell phone like right in front of him, and he's just staring at the screen. And there's like 3 panels of him just staring and staring and staring at his screen, and then he just whispers to himself, "Find Hackjack." And like these tendrils, these mechanical tendrils, like shoot out of his arm, shoot into his phone, and start trying to, like his phone starts scrolling all this data that's scrolling in his vision at the same time.
Beautiful, awesome.
And I think that's actually going to be overexerting himself, which causes his doom track to go up.
Okay. That works for me, and as you've done that, I'm not going to charge you or make you roll. We will say that you do locate them. Back in the main room, the beacons, comms for PopinJay and Booby beep, and it's a message from Dr. W, who says, I need you at the offices of W Global immediately. I've got something I need to show you. And Bobby, I need to adjust. And he doesn't think he ever calls you Bobby. I think he always calls you Robert. Robert, I have. I think your phasing grid might be out of alignment, and I want to check it out.
Very tempted to foolhardily try to unleash my powers and phase, like somehow to get to him, but I don't think that's how phasing works, so I probably should not. So it's more between dimensions and not between places, right? Like it's not teleporting.
I think it's more like walking through walls and, as I say, Kitty Pryde stuff rather than necessarily teleporting, which is more Papillion's bang.
That is what I was, coming to upon thinking about it. So yeah, I will say like, right away, Dr. W. He does not like when I call him Dr. W. He probably has a full last name, but the rest of the team doesn't know what it is because I've never remembered it.
That's what we've assumed. Like, if your name is W Global is his. So maybe he's like Dr. Wonderful, but Dr. W is what you call them. That's sort of our Reed Richards play on words. But cool. So that's fine. We'll let you two do that. So look, let's frame that. What W Global Tower it's down in. It is down in the tech sector of town in Union City, the digital downtown. So in the digital downtown, it is this is all chrome and futuristic looking buildings, all positioned and unlit beautifully. If anyone is watching the most current season of Westworld, it looks like all of those fantastically well designed, glorious buildings you see there. But you see this huge W floating like holographically in front of the tower. As you both arrive, how do you arrive? Are you flying in? Are you getting there?
You're muted.
Would Bobby B want to fly over? Like,
Oh yeah, that'd be totally
get
sweet.
a ride? Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
So we'll do that. I think I say I could carry you, but that's always a risk. So I go rummage through some drawers, and I get one of those tandem skydiving harnesses. And
Awesome.
That way you can kind of just feel like you're actually, flying.
This is gonna be totally sweet.
And so we fly out there. Yeah.
And
I
well,
make sure
I'm
we
the
do,
king
like,
of
a
the
retrospective-
world.
Yeah.
Excellent. So the main floor of as you fly in, because people fly in to see Dr. W.
Actually, wouldn't. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he's got a high up office, in the
Yeah.
building. So I don't go through the front door. I landed on the balcony of his office and knock on the window. Which, like you said, this is not an unusual occurrence for him.
It opens as you're arriving, right? You just allow you to fly in and come to a landing, and Dr. W is in the middle of something, but we haven't seen Dr. W before. So, Bobby, can you describe the Doctor for us?
Yeah, I think he's tall and sort of medium build, but he wears a suit pretty much all the time, but it sometimes has things splattered on it from his experiments. He's got a receding hairline. Like, he sort of looks like he could be a professor, but like slightly weirder because of the experiments and whatnot, depending on the day. And he's sensitive about the hairline, so don't mention it.
Cool. The minute you sort of touch down, robot drones zip around and start adjusting and making adjustments to the kit that he gave you to sort of deal with your phasing, Bobby. And he says, Robert, what went wrong? I detected some unexpected energy signatures from your stability harness. It doesn't seem to be working as expected. We'll obviously need to make some adjustments.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I got a little bit caught up in a moment, and then I was like, I fell through the floor, which I don't think is optimal, probably. But I also don't really know.
Are your emotions connected to your power?
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking it might be, because I was pretty stressed out. But like, I'd like to be able to do it not when I don't want to emotions, but when I do want to emotions.
We'll need to run you through some additional training, I think. Yes? Go on, have your... Imagine if I do warn you, Robert, that if you were to be in a scenario, young man, that your powers were to lose control in the middle of a fight, you could end up stuck in anything. I don't even think that your fresh moves, Robert, are going to save you from your molecules being merged with tarmac.
I think you are right. And then I like sort of loudly whisper to PopinJay, he calls me Robert, but he knows who I am. Don't worry. I've been trying to practice, and I haven't done anything terrible. I broke some things, but they weren't that expensive. But I haven't managed anything as fancy as the thing I did by accident. So if you have like a training drill you could put me through, like an obstacle course, but of phasitude. Like, we could make like a wall of Jell-O, and then if I got stuck halfway through, I could just eat my way
out. He sort of takes his spectacles off and looks and puts the sort of hook into his mouth, going, I know just the simulation. Why don't you help them with this, PopinJay? I think if you're going to step up to be leader of the team, that would work out quite well, won't you think? And he says, before we do that, he points, and you can see on the floor below, there are a floor of what look like almost android, artificial looking like humanoids, and they're all pootling about. He goes, I'd like to introduce you to my greatest and latest creation. Behold the emergency fabricants.
The fabricants? Cants?
Are these the drones that fixed that woman's store a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, almost, but better, PopinJay. These are an automated relief workers. So in the event of a disaster or a conflict, I will be able to release a literal army into the affected area to help people get out safely, to take on menial tasks. My hope is really that ultimately this will be wonderful, that we'll be able to save people from the mundanity of manual work, robots taking over such things. Don't you think it's wonderful?
Man, Dr. W, you're like a genius times two.
Goes, well, I try.
I mean, I can't even like make things in shop class. This is amazing. But like, you control them only, or do they control themselves, or?
They're controlled here from my hub. I could deploy them anywhere in the city. So they all come with their own jetpacks, and I've been able to replicate some of your phasing technology, Bobby. That stability belt means that, you know, imagine that not having to lift out damaged girders, be able to protect and stabilize in earthquake situations. Wonderful, wonderful.
That does sound cool, although I would not like to be replaced by an army of robots. So you're talking about like them joining the effort, right?
Oh, of course. Once the crisis has been dealt with, we can bring in the relief force. I was going to position this to the mayor. I think we could use them for things like firefighters, police work. We wouldn't need utility drivers anymore. They'd be able to do this work for us. Absolutely fantastic. Imagine what people will do with their free time.
What
Imagine.
a current issue that our team is investigating for Servo involves a villain who is a technological and hacking expert, possibly. What kind of security do you have in place on your robots? I mean, what happens if they're used for nefarious means rather than with your good intentions?
Doctor scratches his cheek and says, the best, absolutely the best. At which point the security alarms go off in the tower. But we'll cut from that scene. Tank, I want to pick back up with with Tank's successful connection to locate Hackjack. Are you trying to connect them to them virtually, or are you trying to get to see people to meet with them face to face?
I think he's just trying to connect virtually. He's trying to basically hack into the phone, see where they are.
So they're in Union City, also in A Town, but not a part of A Town that we have seen yet. They're in Dragon North, in the city is where you connect to it. But the fact that you've pinged their phone is enough for her to realize that you're connected, and all of a sudden the video screen comes up on your device, and you can see her looking down the screen at you. This big bubblegum bubble is sort of expanding in the screen, and then pops all of a sudden, and she looks back at you with sort of her colorful hair and says, "Hey, long time no see. Are you Facebook stalking me, Tank? Am I the one that got away?"
No, just wanted to make sure you were okay. Everyone here is worried about you.
Yeah, I don't buy that, Tank. I'm glad that you're worried about me, though.
So what are you doing?
Oh, I'm working on my own now. I've got a sideline operation. I've been trying to figure out, how can I help you with your condition, Tank. I've been working on some of the Legion tech. It's typical though, man. The Titans lock it right down. You can't get access to it. So it was a real struggle to get it, but I've got some, and I'm getting there. I'm starting to understand how these nanites work. It's almost like a hive mind, which transposes down into a different dimensional level. That's where we've not been able to find it before. If I can disrupt that, we might be able to, release you from the hold of this thing.
So you're not working with Madame Bancho anymore.
If you might want to pierce the mask at that point.
Let's pierce.
That's with mundane. Why is it going to outright fib to you?
Hang on, too many windows. Wow, 12 total.
Cool. So on a 10+, you get to ask 3 questions from the Pierce the Mask list, or you don't need to use them exactly as is. If there's a better question you want to ask, do feel free to do so.
Okay. What are you really planning?
She's planning to try and do what she has said in this instance. She wants to, in the framing of what she said to you, is she wants to help you escape the nanites, and is actively looking and researching that.
How could I get influence over you?
She's got a soft spot for you. I think if you reinforce that she's doing the right thing and you believe in her, and don't question her motivations too much, she will extend influence to you.
Okay. And what do you want me to do?
She wants you to leave the Vanguard and join her team.
Okay, so Tank says, hang on a minute, I'll be right there. And he turns his cell phone off, and then he looks around and he looks at the door and he looks at the window that's in his room, and he says, take me there. And he portals to her location using his, or he tries to portal to her location using his, so many windows. Using his infinite powers move.
Wonderful. So use an ability from any playbook one time. So
it'd be unleash your powers.
Yeah.
Borrowing my teleportation, Steve's just getting all up in my grill.
And that's a, I hope it's not a flat 6. Plus freak. 7.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, you do it. You mark a condition, or I'm going to tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
It's unstable or temporary?
Yeah, that's fine if you want to do that. So what I'm going to inflict there is, though you've taken it there, you don't know where there is. There's sort of like a screening and defensive grid up around this, so that you've teleported into wherever this base of operations is. You're not entirely sure you could, well, you can't get back here, and you've probably, the connection, you're almost stretched, so you've got a few seconds here before you zap back to where you were. And she looks to you, and presumably you're all tanked up at this point.
I think partially tanked up. So I think he's got everything on except like the chest piece, so she can still see his face.
Okay. So she sort of sees that and then looks out and puts her hand on your chest and says, Carlos, you shouldn't be using your powers. You shouldn't, you know the risks of this. He said, this life isn't for you. I'll save you. And I know, I said, I'll save you. And I know that they won't. They're caught up in their own drama.
Do you think you can save me?
She leans in close to you and says, I want to. I'll try everything in my power to do so.
Glitch has some kind of a lead. You might want to get in touch with him. And he kind of looks down when he says that.
It's sort of like, she goes, Glitch is a hack. Glitch is a stooge. Glitch wouldn't know how to run a DOS command prompt. Screw Glitch. This is beyond Glitch's abilities. Said, you don't need them. You need me. I'll help you. You should ditch those guys and come with us. I believe in you. And she's trying to tell you who you are.
Okay, hang on. Okay, sorry, where's that?
So this is influence, which is page 2 of the PDF of the basic moves. When someone with influence over you tells you how the world works, accept what they say or reject their influence. She's trying to tell you that that she is the only one who's got your interest at heart, and the Vanguard and the Titans don't.
I think Carlos is going to say, he's my friend too, Hackjack. You know that, and he's going to reject.
Mm-hmm. So you reject. It's a flat roll to reject the influence.
Okay. Flat roll is a 6.
So on a miss, the words hit you hard. Mark a condition, and the GM will adjust your labels. So, which condition you think is hopeless?
I think hopeless is probably most fitting.
She says and looks at you. Look, if it means saving you, sure, I'll talk to that asshole. And I'm going to move your freak down, because she's trying to make you feel like a real boy, and put your mundane up. And that's the point. She sort of leans forward and says, it's so good to see you. And she looks like she's leaning in for a kiss, and all of a sudden the tunnel collapses and you're back in the HQ.
And he pops back looking like disoriented, pops back into his room again, and just like sits back exhausted on his bed.
In a side panel, we see Hatchat standing there. She takes a deep breath and a sigh, and then into the room comes Madame Bancho. Says, you're wasting your time with that one. He'll never betray them. He'll never join us. And she sort of looks at Bancho and says, yeah, they will. I know the one thing that will bring him this way. And we cut to Papillion at this point. Where is Papillion? Where all of this drama has started unfolding elsewhere? How's your day going?
I think after like all the teams started splitting off, that Jerry, in like this rare moment of being able to be with, not Glitch, but with Skippy, is is taking a point like getting debrief from Skippy. But I think this will show Jerry's like actual intelligence for once. Like Glitch is going on and on about like all these, like, check the wiki later if you want, like, if you really care about this information. But Jerry is like listening in, like it's just correcting like the jargon terms, like when you say like this measurement, like do you mean like electronically, cybernetically, or like just like tangentially kind of things. Like he's correcting, but I think like he's really concerned about the tech getting into the hands of the Crystal Knuckle Association.
Yeah, and I think Glitch is happy to take Papillon's advice in terms of the names, but at some point when we're in this exchange, Glitch suddenly kind of stops and looks at Papillon and says, "Look, I'm fascinated with the technology, that's clear, but what I'm having difficulty with, it's not Hackjack's technical abilities. I know that I'll be able to kind of figure out what Hackjack is up to in terms of that, but there's something else going on with Hackjack, and this also involves Tank, and I'm having a hard time getting my head around that relationship."
I think Jerry lets out this like long and sadly knowing sigh. It's like a Glitch. Look up file Severine, Emperor Norton's data. And I think I get like brings up like this like stat pad that has to be like a really cool comic page, like a strength 7 out of 10, ingenuity 11 out of 10, like all these like stat blocks, and it's like that's my ex. It took everything I had not to join her instead of you guys when she asked. And Emperor Norton had already scouted me. I think Carlos might have the same type of feelings for Hackjack.
And Glitch, Glitch is working hard, kind of processing this, and after a few seconds, so Glitch kind of steps back and looks at Papillon and says, it's hard for me to think that Tank would turn against the team, but I know that I've realized that he's had a thing for Hackjack, and it's gone beyond just technology with him.
Yeah, and let me tell you something important, Scipio. Scipio, or how do I say your
Skippy?
I want to think like a Scipio is like he's saying like your full name.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like you're still human enough that, like us, you would betray us for something. There is something out there in each and every member of this team that would make us turn our back on it. I don't think Hackjack is that for Tank. I think I think there is something out there that would turn Tank against us, but this isn't it. I trust him. I trust you. I trust everyone on this team, but myself. And I think I'm tapping this like moment of weakness during like this connective. Well, let me check my team triumph move, because I think like the idea of this team being involatile or inviolable might work, but yeah, I think it's like Glitch. You're amazing. You are awesome. You are like, there used to be 7 wonders in the world. You would like make that 13 just by existing by yourself. But me, I'm just a troublemaker that can do pretty parlor tricks. If anyone on this team is a detriment, it's me. And I'm asking, I'm giving you influence and asking, do you think I'm cool?
Yeah, so Glitch looks at you and says, Papillion, I've seen what you've done, and to call them cool parlor tricks, that's you are way underselling yourself. You know, you've got you're an important part of the glue that holds this team together, and well, to be honest, you know, I've never before this understood the word inspiration, but I think I'm learning what that word means right now.
Sweet. So I gain influence over you as well, and I think you had influence on me. So, am I correct?
Let's see. No, I think we are the ones that had not had.
So you gain influence over me, and I gain influence over you.
And the team also gains a pool, if I have read that move correctly.
I believe so.
So the team was reset because time had passed. The team is now at 2. Let's jump back to PopinJay and Booby B, because the alarm has just gone off in W Global Towers. And Dr. W goes, "Oh, dearie me, there seems to be someone in the vault." Oh, troubly so. They're in the Black Vault. No one can get into the Black Vault. It's sealed.
Okay, but you just said someone was in there, so they could get into the Black Vault.
No one has got into the Black Vault before.
I mean, I could try to go into the Black Vault. Like, I'm sure with you here to tell me how to do it, nothing could go wrong. Maybe I should go, like, Jim Cotta this fool.
Well, perhaps so. I'll kit up as well, but quick.
Can you take me with you?
I would love to do that, but I would hate to accidentally demoleculize you, or whatever it is.
Use the access tube over there, and the floor opens, and you can see like a glowing tunnel which descends down into the bowels of the building.
Will that take us straight into the?
I trust you and your power, and I just put my hand out and like offer to hold your hand as you're about to do this, whatever
All right.
it is.
I'll take your hand. I'm gonna just clarify. So Dr. W, we're gonna go down in that hole, and then I'm gonna like phase through the wall of a black vault. And will it be labeled Black Vault, or will it just be a vault that's black? Or
Don't worry, I'll open the doors. There's someone in there right now. I'm summoning the Titans, and they hit a button. They'll be with us shortly, but be careful down there.
Oh, okay. Right. We can do that. All right, PopinJay, come on. Count to 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And I'm gonna assume we jump together.
Yes.
Into the blue lit hole in the floor.
Yeah, it's quite. It's sort of one of those sort of you're descending, and it feels like you're descending for forever before you hit. You're probably down in the bowels of the building, and lights sort of clatter on, and it's sort of glittering thin blue lights of line, and yes, you can see a sign across the entrance of the door that says "The Black Vault, danger, no admittance."
Ow, that access tube was poorly designed. They should put like a landing pad. Ow, I'm just saying. I think we gotta get into the vault, but the door's not open. Should I try to phase, or we just wait for Dr. W, or?
Take us in. No, take us in.
All
He
right.
said to go.
All right. Okay.
We got this.
So I just gotta think of what I did in Mrs. Kim's backyard area, and then what happened on the playground. All right. Maybe if I just get mad enough. I'm mad because, ow, I've got a dance off, and that really hurt when we landed. And also, why is someone sneaking into the vault? And also, this Hackjack character, I don't like it. And as I'm going on this rant, I just like sort of am storming at the front of the black vault with your hand, and I would like to try to unleash my powers and get us through the door of the black vault. If that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm not under fire. So yeah, just regular. That's plus freak, right? I do not have a good freak score, I don't think, but at least it's a flat roll. Okay. Seriously?
Oh,
What did you get?
That sucks. Snake eyes.
changing would need
There's,
help
I
with
think,
that.
nothing anyone can do.
Okay, there is at the moment you feel so angry. We see B-Qubed whooshing through the door, and there's this moment of incorporation as you come through the other side. Unfortunately, your concentration was a little too distracted, and you weren't able to get PopinJay through, so you are separated, and I'm going to inflict a condition on PopinJay as you are run at speed and your molecules don't quite make it through the door and you're pushed back out. So how are you feeling, PopinJay, and what condition are you marking?
All right. I'm looking for the list of conditions.
So it's on your character keeper. You've got afraid, hopeless, insecure, guilty, and angry.
Insecure. I was, trying to fake it till we make it, boosting up Booby B's self-image, and when I didn't go through, mine took a hit.
Cool. You can hear on the comms, Dr. Blue. Oh no, that didn't go according to plan. I'll open the door. It'll only take 90 seconds.
You hear me like trying to call through. I'm sorry, PopinJay. I tried. I'm sorry. Also, I should probably figure out what's going on, but I'm sorry. And then I would like to, can I assess the situation?
Oh, yes. You definitely can.
I think I probably should know what's going on in this vault. So my superior is also 0. So another flat roll. Seriously? All right, so that fails too. This is not Bobby B's best day.
So you're sort of looking around, and as Bobby B is scouting the scene, if you were describing the panel behind them, we would see the invisibility cloak of Symarchy, who is Peregrine's invisible thief nemesis. You would see them sort of just behind them, looming over, arms coming down on Bobby B. Let's cut to the rest of the team. This Titan signal has been hit. I think Dr. W sort of put the general alert and broadcast out because the Black Vault being attacked in W Towers is of peril to everyone. What are the rest of the team doing?
And do we know that PopinJay and Bobby B went over to
Yep.
Dr. W?
Yeah. No, I think
And,
W gives you a broadcast. Said there's someone breaking into the Black Vault. Two of the Vanguard are on an intercept.
So I think Glitch, hearing that, he kind of yells out to the other Vanguard members, it's not just two of the Vanguard on that intercept. I think all of the Vanguard are on that intercept. We need to get over there right now.
Yeah, I like to imagine that.
I include help.
Yeah. Oh God, I think like Jerry is looking at his phone when he hears this, like sees like the help text, like doesn't even check that it's a group text, and like I kind of imagine correct me if I'm taking too much agency away, but like imagine like Tank and Glitch like getting together like at the lower floors, like coming like different panels in. And then Jerry just like disappearing from upstairs, teleporting behind them, like grabbing them both by the backs, like, as a wise man once never said, yeet. And we'll teleport them to the I suppose I'm trying to get to PopinJay, so I may be leaving Bobby B or B-Qubed a bit. Is it B-Qubed? Is that
B-Qubed.
No. Okay, might be leaving B-Qubed to be preyed upon, but I think this long-distance teleport is unleashing my powers.
I agree.
Oh, goody, that is a 10.
So the help and the triangulation on the comms is enough for you to teleport to outside the Black Vault. Inside, alone and surprised, Bobby B, I would like you to take a powerful blow, as what happens is Symarchy's fist impacts through you, and the arm sort of half phasing, and the arm goes through you. It is going to potentially disrupt your own phasing powers as they hit you at that point. So please take a powerful blow.
Okie dokie. Disrupt my non-working powers all he wants. What is do I do anything with take a powerful blow as far as the roll?
It's marked
Plus
with the number of
conditions.
conditions.
I have 1. So that's a 7 with the condition.
Cool. Okay. So on a 7, the surprise of being swiped by the supervillain behind you is enough. You're on a 7 to 9. You choose one from the list.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what. I mean, they've already got the opportunity, and I don't think my teammates are here. So
You could probably provoke, like, you could say you're provoking PopinJay by just saying, like, get in here, which could be tagged at any of us now that we're technically there.
but does that count as?
Yeah, don't hedge your bets. Yeah, like just yell out, get in here now, I guess, and like,
Bobby B would never say that. Bobby B has to do something else. I will.
They could take additional opportunity to pull one of their moves.
Yeah, I will
or you
take
can
that
two
one.
Condition. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give them the opportunity. They can like hit me again or whatever, but I wouldn't yell orders at my team. That's not how you work in a team.
So you sort of the impact of this arm comes through you, and you can see you start vibrating. And for one moment, it looks like Bobby B might actually shake apart, and then Saimaki pulls back the head, and you're on the floor. Your powers are out of control, and goes. You can sort of then the invisibility cloak finishes. There's a picture in the NPCs for this now, but they've got this sort of whirring suit of sort of armor. Little gases push out, and he goes. He said, "If you're the future, we've already won." And then they run off into darkness, and you see them leaping up an open sort of small cut hole and away. And all of a sudden, the defense systems start wiring up and warming up, and you can see the doors starting to unlock. But what's the team doing outside?
Well, since Bobby B didn't think that it would be right to be the one to provoke Papillion, I think then PopinJay would do it. And say, get in there, help Bobby.
You're trying to provoke Papillon. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah. And I believe I have influence.
Yeah, so you roll superior +1.
Okay.
Hey, if you want to, you can take advantage of your influence over someone and surrender your influence and take an additional +1 forward on the roll.
I don't think I need that because it brings me to a +3 as it is.
Oh,
Ooh.
then go for it.
Action. Well, I got a 3 + 3 is a 6.
Someone in the team gonna help motivate. I don't need that much motivation, but is someone gonna help on that provoke? Or does the provoke
I think
fail?
I am going to spend team on this provoke, as I think like Papillon has been like patting down PopinJay, like making sure like he's completely okay. And, like once he realizes that this is okay, he'll like lean in, like get a quick cheek kiss, and I think like then teleport him, start like then get the choice of what move you want, as he like lets you know your opinion matters.
Cool. Okay.
So
there
that
is
brings it to a 7 to 9.
Yep.
Yeah, so you choose. If I do it, I mark team. If I don't do it, I mark condition. You get to choose which of those you put on me.
If you do it, you mark team?
It will add team to the pool. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that would mean if you actually unleash your powers and get in there, you get okay, cool. Yeah, I'll choose that one.
Okay. See, I think like this is very risky, as like I'm a powerful teleporter, but it is very hard to teleport to a place you've never seen, and I just managed to do that once. I'm not going to risk everyone to do that, so it's like again, like the cocoon of light implodes on Papillon as he disappears behind, like trying to get into that place by himself.
So you're going to definitely have to unleash your powers here.
Thankfully, I'm taking +1 forward because I spent team non-selfishly for the first time in this game. And I needed that because that is now a 10.
Okay, this is hard. This place is really deeply shielded. It's not, you don't think, quite part of this dimension. And for a moment, in fact, describe that traversing of that teleport, because it's probably the hardest teleport you've ever done.
I think this is very much tying to Booby B. I think I get this is a phasing. Like I teleport into the building, I get there for a second, it phases me out into I think I'm in Earth 3 right now, but I'm standing in the same plane. Then I jump up, grab this fire escape, like Booby B showed me how to parkour a bit. I throw myself up, get into teleport again, get to dimension 4, grab this passing car, or passing skateboard, go down do a flip trick, get to dimension 6, and it finally I have to after a 8 full teleports through dimensions I've never done. I'm just in there, energy spent, panting right beside Booby B like I had run a marathon.
Okay, you're in. Booby B powers are still phasing out of control as they are again almost shifting in and out and blinking out of existence. What do you do to help Booby solve this problem?
Yeah, I think oh god, this is going to go terribly, but I think I defend Booby by trying to ground him. Imagine your dance group. Imagine you're the Vanguards. Imagine Tina. You're dancing off. You're showing her off. You're showing her up. You're doing the best. Come back to us, man. Trying to grab his shoulders, hold him steady.
So it sounds like you're trying to provoke them into stabilizing here.
Oh, then I will definitely provoke. I am much better at that. Oh, that barely scrapes by with a. Oh, wait, let me see. 5, 4, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, a 7 with
for PCs on a 7 to 9.
Yeah, I will say if Booby B is able to do this, we'll mark team.
So, Booby, do the words of Papillion give Booby enough to do it and stabilize their powers?
I think it takes a minute, but yeah, it takes a minute for Booby B to even figure out that Papillion is there. It's a little bit disorienting, phasing in and out of, and so I'm gonna experiment with trying this. You hear oh, Papillion, it's really good to see you. Thanks for rescuing me. Can you? I'm kind of freaking out, but eventually I hear enough that it gets through.
Yeah, and Papillion will do the cool grab the fist, hold it to our hearts and bro hug moment, but a full bro hug, not a back patting bro hug, but we're in this together.
Thanks, man. That was pretty whack.
Who did this to you? Who's back here? What is this entire thing?
Honestly, I didn't really get to look around, so we should probably look. Would I recognize, was it Saya?
Skyamaki?
Yeah, that's right.
Sayamaki?
Sayamaki, sorry. Right.
Sayamaki.
So, unfortunately,
it's an invisibility cloak for most of it, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, you didn't get a view, but I think that's the point where the doors open. And in come the rest of the Vanguard, followed almost immediately by the Titans. And probably the closing seen of this comic is the Titans and the Vanguard in Dr. W's Black Vault, trying to figure out what has been done. But would anyone like to do something to try and figure out what has been done? And then we'll take those leads out of here, the sort of the closing moves of the game.
I'll try to assess the situation if that's
Cool.
what you're asking.
Yep.
Nice. And what stat does that roll with?
It rolls
Superior.
with superior, yeah.
Okay. So that's a 13.
Cool. So you can ask me 2 questions, either from the list or something else you want to know. I don't think that quite the answers are probably going to be the ones that you need to ask me. So if there's more effective questions, do feel free to do so.
Well, first, do we know it's Siamiki or is that information like out of character? Like we know that off screen.
No, we can. You can. I think we could to describe how you want to prove that it was like Siamaki. What would you know as it's your Titan's key villain? What would you know that would reveal that truth to you?
The vibrating hand attack is definitely one of her abilities, and the uncanny ability to get into places that you should be able to get into. So yeah, if it is that one of my questions is how do I prove it? Is that a sufficient amount of proof?
That is absolutely fine. And Siamaki, I think, is such an egotist that breaking into Dr. W's Black Vault would have been a Mona Lisa type job. So there's always a calling card that they leave behind. What is that calling card?
An etching on the wall done with kind of the vibration powers that has this villainous emblem that is on the armor.
Cool. I think it's probably the psi symbol, right? That sort of call that Greek letter, the psi symbol is just whoosh, into the wall, so you can see it now. Scroll down the wall, which is their calling card. And what's your second question?
Could be like, did any other Titans get a hit at the same time?
Could be.
Or do we know what was taken? Or I assume Siamiki got away with whatever.
Yeah, that was the advantage I took, that Siamaki escaped. Yeah. So,
but I guess we already know what's missing, right? So, yeah, was there any corroborating incidents that this seems to connect to?
no, you don't know what's missing.
Be the question then.
You don't know what they've taken.
Well, we don't know what missing. Okay, so yeah, let's go with that. I want to know what's missing, what was taken, or put in.
Cool. Okay, so what has been taken is a set of research documents and notes, and specifically the an AI core that could be used in one of Dr. W's fabricants.
Meaning these new robots he was showing us?
Yep.
So
Okay.
I make sure that I point that out to everyone.
Cool.
Share the information.
Closing panel of issue 2 is we see the mayor's office in Union City, and we identified the mayor is Mayor Agnes Dilworthy. She has that tall, austere, high-collared sort of Aunt May sort of look at her, and you can sort of hear the door, the room, the bell in her room is knocked, and she sort of says, "Come in." And as she opens the door, we see another Agnes Dilworthy looking back at her with glittering blue eyes. And the final scene is the hand of the blue-eyed Dilworthy swooshing out towards her. And then we turn the back page to the letters page of the comic, and this month it is Booby B's dance tips, and that's what all the writers have read in and given us letters towards. So we close down the session there and move towards the end of session move. And I'm going to ask you now in character keeper, we're going to go reverse character keeper order. No, character keeper order. Have you either grown closer to the team, grown into your own image yourself, or grown away from the team? Glitch, how did you do today?
Yeah, so I think Glitch, I think, grew closer to the team. It says, explain who made you feel welcome, give influence to that character, and clear a condition or mark potential. I mean, I think it was, you know, the scene with Papillion, which kind of really struck close to Glitch, and really kind of made him feel like, you know, I mean, both closer to the team, but also kind of getting him also connected up through that kind of human level, and giving him kind of insight into what's going on with the team members emotionally.
Cool. So, who are you going to give influence? You're going to
Me.
And
Yeah.
who have you got? Do you already have influence?
I do. And I think that, well, I think I kind of believe in Servo's assessment. So I'm going to say superior. I can mark this, so don't worry. Superior up and danger down, Glitch.
Tank, did you grow closer to the team, your image of yourself, or away from the team?
I'm going to say away from the team, just because Hackjack introduced some doubt there. So even though I don't think Tank is necessarily thinking about quitting, Hackjack did kind of introduce the thought. So I'm going to pull influence away from I think I'm going to take influence away from Glitch. Given that conversation, that's probably the most.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Appropriate. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Bobby.
I think I actually grew away from the team because everyone else is doing awesome stuff and I like failed at everything. So I think I feel like I don't belong on the team really. I don't know who I would take influence from because it's not anybody's fault. That I feel like everyone's been supportive. It's my own feelings that are causing that. But I guess I'll say Tank because I'm worried about him and Hackjack possibly breaking up the team. And now I feel like since I'm not living up to everything, like it's even more reason that someone would be tempted to join another crew.
Cool. And though it all didn't go well, do you feel that phasing through the wall and into Dr. W's Black Vault is traveling to an incredible place? Or do you want to leave that one?
I actually do feel like, in my mind, that would be a pretty incredible. It was like down a blue lit shaft in a secret black vault. I don't think Booby B is probably that hard to impress. So awesome. I would like to strike that out.
Yeah, strike that one through. PopinJay.
Yeah, I feel more that I've grown closer to the team in when I called on Papillion to help, they did, and so they already have influence.
So I shift your labels.
Shift labels. And what about the clearing a condition? Is that something I choose or you choose?
Yeah, you can clear a condition or mark potential.
Okay. So I'll clear the insecure potential, and I'll say maybe we had alone time together and, you helped me clear the condition.
Well, I think it definitely clears insecure that I will come when you call. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I will. What am I going to? I think I'm going to shift your superior down and your freak up, because it is a bit freaky to me that you were willing to introduce me to your grandfather so quick.
Yeah.
And for mine, I believe that I did grow close to the team, and I believe I grew closer to Carlos because, like, I admitted to him that, I literally understood him better than I wanted to let on.
Excellent. Thank you. So let's do some stars and then some wishes, and we'll zag back in the order we've just established there. So, Sawyer, can I ask you to go first with any stars you'd like to give out?
Yes, I think this really felt like much more of a good, like last time it did feel like I guess like there are the fighty issues and the talky issues. I liked this one was a good talky issues, and yeah, you should shift my labels, I think, Tank. And was like I really enjoyed the like stress that's going on between Glitch and Tank. It's very I love how PopinJay is like making like Jerry is very, I was like, this is my first time being with a guy. This is my first time being with someone who's so amazing, like in the public eye. This is my first time really like no shade, Severine, but caring, since he hadn't threatened me with an ashtray yet. And both the scene with Booby B and Tina, I thought was great role playing from Pearl, and a great idea for you, David, to have a hard weather a powerful blow of Tina styling on Bobby. It was just everyone was great all around. Thank you. And wishes for next time, I would like to see the besides Glitch, like other people having time with their Titan that like maybe sort of like more protege-ish, and I really would like to have like a like if there is downtime, or even if it's ruined by a fight, a like date with PopinJay where we work on our team move.
Cool. Let's note that down. I'm gonna go with the name I've got in the list here actually. So Pearl, can you give me any stars and wishes?
Sure. Oh, it's very bright without these on all of a sudden. Stars to all as ever. I don't have a lot of specific stars, I think, because I'm just sort of out of it tonight. I remember enjoying a lot of things and telling myself to remember them for when the stars came, and now is that time, and they are not being remembered. But they existed for everybody. Lots of good things.
That's cool. Any wishes then?
I would like to have, just like for my own character at least, like a training montage, because Booby B is all about montages on this phasing thing, because everything's gone so badly today. I think Booby B wants to like knuckle down and get it right.
Got it.
Or even a montage that cuts back and forth between dance moves and phasing.
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of training. I think that's probably the lesson learned by Bobby, right? That they need to step up the game both in moves and phasing. So yeah, we want to see the ramifications. What happened there? Agreed. Marco, stars and wishes, please.
I really enjoyed the role-playing scene between Hackjack and Carlos, and pulling away just at the moment of the kiss was like in perfect, comic book and or Young Justice format. It was good. I wishes next time. I guess I'm gonna go with the figuring out what the signature team move for Papillion and PopinJay to make their powers work together to do like some kind of you know along the lines of what my grandfather suggested, and yeah, and I want to see those montages.
So what I'm
The
already getting
training,
there,
the dancing.
yeah, I may well open next move with like a training session in the Titans danger room, so we can sort of see the team coming together and what that looks like, because they're getting used to fighting more. Steve, stars and wishes.
Yeah, so I think first off, that really felt like a comic book, so I thought that was really, really cool. So I think GM gets the star on that one, because I like the final letters thing was cool. I could almost like see the Hasbro page, like the ad at the end of the comic coming up and everything, like the ad for Saturday morning cereal or something like that. So that was pretty cool. I actually thought the role playing was really good from everyone. I really like how Glitch has glitchy antics and whatnot, like glitches occasionally. I thought that was really cool. The scene with TinaT was really good, but I also liked how you used your mute button to like cut or phase in and out during that last scene. I thought that was really cool. That was creative. PopinJay, and this is going to come to my wishes as well. Like there was one line, Marco, that you had when, like, right before Tank stormed out of the room, where you were like, "No, Hackjack is the enemy. We're not going to mess with Hackjack." And I was like, "That's really cool. Like he's totally doing the legacy thing and like taking charge, even though it's not, he's by the book." And I thought that was just like a really characterful moment when it probably would have been easier to get along with everyone. And Jerry is such a cool mix of delinquent and like trying to provoke people, and then also being really compassionate with people. I enjoy that a lot. So I think you're playing that really cool, Ferret. In terms of wishes, I want to see more like leadership from PopinJay. I think that dynamic where PopinJay is a peer to everyone, but is like taking charge at the same time because his legacy kind of demands it. Like, I think that's a really cool thing. So I want more awesome scenes like that from him.
Awesome, thank you. So we can definitely reflect on that. And last but in no means least, Robbie, let's have you, please.
Yeah, I liked. This is to some extent reiterating what others have said, but I think that the tank hat jack glitch kind of relationship was really interesting, and I loved the way that, you know, the drama being added with Tank, really possibly considering kind of going with Hat Jack. There's kind of this real emotional, dramatic tension that's kind of set up there, which is really interesting. And I also liked, and this is also going to be a kind of leading into a wish, but the end of the comic this time, with in terms of the storyline ending with the mayor and the double and this AI core that has been kind of stolen, and how all of that is kind of working together, I thought was a nice little teaser cliffhanger to end up the issue. But yeah, that's kind of a wish to kind of, you know, kind of curious as to where exactly that story is going to go.
Sweet. So yeah, we can do that. Thank you very much, folks. Again, I wanted to give you all time to role play a lot today and listen and get your voices of your characters. We had quite an actiony episode last time, so this issue was really about setting up some of the bigger pictures and seeing these character voices and the inter-character drama, which I look forward to carrying on next time. And again, a huge thanks to everyone who painted and described scenes really well. Stephen, I love the way that you, especially just to pull out there of sort of when you're describing scenes, you're describing them as if we're seeing a splash page in the comic book. I love that so much in Masks, and the same for others who did that. So thank you, gang. So I'm going to stop recording at this point. So we'll see you in issue 3. So we draw together issue 2, the modern day Prometheus.